It's showtime.
Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. We just saw Game 3 between Yeti and Kirby, or CRBT for short, because obviously that makes sense. We're going to be heading in to our fourth game of the series.
Yeah, fourth game coming up. I think this game has the potential to be very interesting. An interesting map. Players that like to play strats, I think, will work well on it. So let's just go ahead and reveal everything, Kix.
Yep, so we're going to have kogeT versus Incomplete. Now, kogeT, a very, very strong Polish Terran, one of the best foreign Terrans in the scene at the moment. He used to play Zerg a while ago, did switch. I'm not really sure why he switched, but he definitely did, and I'm glad he did, because we have a Terran hero at the top now to face off against the Zergs like Eon Zerg. But he did do very well in round 1 and round 2. He's back here in round 3, did win his first game, and his opponent gonna be the clan leader for Clan Revolution. I was said Incomplete there, god damn it. But Incomplete is the player. He recently switched to Terran from Protoss, so a little bit weird for him, I would imagine. But he's going to be doing his best here if he can against the might that is kogeT. The thing that may help him a little bit is going to be the map. Plasma makes it very hard to do any crazy rushes, especially in TBT. You can't really do any majorly over-the-top vulture builds or anything like that. It takes a long time to break through the middle. I mean, it's very likely we'll see 2-port Wraith from at least one of our players here. But it's going to be fun nonetheless as we head on into our fourth game of Net Wars vs. ReV. It's kogeT versus Incomplete. And over here in the top left position we do have as the Okra Terran, it's kogeT.
It's not the Okra Terran, Kix. That would be green and delicious when fried. The R and the E are definitely in a different order, but just throwing that out there. His opponent in the plum on the right-hand side of your screen is clan leader for ReV, Incomplete.
Yeah, now, I mean, TBT takes a little bit to start up, but we should start to see some sort of changes around the 11-12 supply. Are we going to see any of them go into a barracks early on? Are we going to see 14 CC from both of them? I mean, if there's one map you're going to play really greedy on, it may as well be Plasma. But it looks like kogeT is going to add his first depot, kind of blocking off a lot of the space in his main, so it's likely that he's going to be building his factories outside of his base, but Incomplete building it off in the top right corner.
Wow, we're just really talking about those differences, Kix. Yeah, it's the first supply depot. It's kind of stylistic. One thing that you'll see Zerg players do is with spawning pools. So, like, usually you're supposed to use the spawning pool to, like, kind of either block behind your mineral line so that vultures can't run around, or zealots or whatever it is. Or you're supposed to put it at, like, outside near the edge of your creep where it's, like, gonna scout for other things. But, like, I don't know. With supply depots, you can actually just put them anywhere. So, well, unless it's unbuildable terrain. So I actually have no idea why you would build a supply depot just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Unless you're one of those, like, architecture Terrans where you want your maxed out 200 base to look like a Vincent van Gogh painting.
Yeah, kind of like what Flash does, but unintentionally, I think, a lot of the time. But it's going to be 14 CC for both of our players here. Gonna have to see a barracks coming up fairly soon after this. One of the stylistic choices you can go for here is actually going for gas first, but looks like both of them gonna go for that barracks fairly quickly. Both of them gonna be building it a little bit closer to their opponents as well to allow them to scout, but Incomplete going for an SCV scout is gonna give kogeT a little bit of a mineral advantage as we head into the game.
Yeah, and there's a slight difference right now. The barracks being built about, inside Incomplete space, whereas barracks is outside, forward racks, I guess you could call it, for kogeT. So might wanting to be a little bit more aggressive. The downside is that, this is plasma, so the idea that you would be aggressive on this map is just actually a little bit ludicrous, because, I mean, a Marine, we could be here for the rest of, like, eternity, and it would still not break through all those eggs.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a game the other day between Hiramu and someone, and he had cracklings, and they took forever to get through the eggs, so that's...
Yeah, when cracklings can't kill something, like, just forget it.
Yeah, you know it's going to take a long, long time, but we're going to have Incomplete attacking the supply depot a little bit, just being a little bit annoying. Not really going to be able to achieve too much. We're probably just going to see a couple of Marines from kogeT to lift this up and send it for a scout. He's going to keep SCVs by both of the sets of eggs. Now the reason for this is because you can actually land a barracks on top of a vulture and send it through the eggs. It's a little bit hard to do, but even I have done it, and I can do it quite consistently as well, so it's not that difficult, especially if someone like me can do it. But we're going to have factories coming up for both players.
Surprise! Terran's building factories against each other, yes. And it's going to be 2 factories in front of the natural for Incomplete, and then I guess the 2 factories, or the factories rather, for... Oh, there's only 1 for kogeT. Okay.
Yeah, kogeT
so what I
think is going to get 2-port.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. 2-port Wraith is super, super strong on this map because it just takes so long to break through the eggs that having a big ground army doesn't really matter. So one thing you can see is there's a Goliath opener where you get Goliaths instead of Wraiths, and I think that's one good way to open on this map. But the other way is you try to slingshot your opponent's Wraiths by going a bunch of tanks, and then you can blow up the eggs really, really quickly, and all of a sudden you show up at your opponent's side of the map, and they just don't have very much.
Yeah, now we do see that first starport coming in, so it looks like it isn't going to be 2-port for kogeT. He did get his second gas a little bit later, but he's going to go 1 fact, 1 port. Now, behind this he is going to go straight into siege tanks. We do have double machine shop coming in for Incomplete as well, so the tank advantage is certainly going to go to Incomplete for the time being, but we're going to likely see at least a couple of Wraiths coming in for kogeT, and we've got the second factory coming in for him as well, so both of them still being quite passive right now, not really too much you can do, but kogeT already up by 5 supply.
5 whole supply, oh.
That's actually quite a lot in a TBT though, like this early.
Well, it depends on what the supply is in, and yeah, it is actually pretty early. So if your supply is in Marines early on, probably not that great. But if it's 5 STBs, then yeah, that's actually pretty big. If you've got a bunch of macro buildings, obviously you're going to be able to kind of slingshot there as well. So just try to keep an eye on what is going on for both of our players. It does look like kogeT is at least going to be going for upgrades here as well, kind of at the same time, and inflating that barracks or the factory count. We thought he was maybe going to go for more starport play, but it doesn't look like that's coming up in the near future.
Yeah, he's only actually gone for 1 Wraith as well. This is going to push away any flying buildings. Going to get a perfect scout on his opponent as well. So after knowing everything that's going on, we see Incomplete immediately building an engineering bay. He can't really be sure if this isn't going to be a big Wraith play. He hasn't got an armory or an academy yet, so gonna have to rely on at least a couple of turrets if he wants to take out these Wraiths, unfortunately.
Just working on or watching for how effective this Wraith is going to be. Probably not very. Marine versus Wraith, the Marine just has a really great matchup there. But of course, the bigger problem is oh wow, he does get an SCV kill. Damn,
yeah, he
control there.
He got 2 of them, but I mean, with Wraiths, one kind of interesting breakpoint is you actually need 3 Marines to kill a Wraith, because 1 Wraith can kill 2 Marines, so a little bit interesting there. Obviously with Micro, the Wraith can maybe take out both the Marines without dying, but it's kind of surprising. But kogeT going into 4 factories behind this, Incomplete still on 2, but Incomplete with the advantage for the time being. Now, Incomplete is going to be able to expand a little bit later, but kogeT already expanding to the 3rd set of main, natural, and 3rd combo is going to get a little bit of a quicker 3rd gas.
Yeah, 3rd gas is huge here, obviously, but so normally if you just had a flat map for TBT, the better player would be the one, or the player with the advantage would be the one that could set up a tank line first, right? That locked down more minerals for himself. Now, you know, for Plasma, this is a 3-player map, right? So there's only one other main. So the minerals and the way that your tank line is going to look just looks really weird. Also, because you can't even get tanks out on the map unless you have dropships or you break down the eggs. Now, kogeT is doing both of those first, so theoretically he has a huge positional advantage on Plasma.
Yeah, he's got a really, really good advantage now. The dropship heading out to the bottom right-hand side of the base. So that's going to go into the main where there isn't actually any ground units to defend. He does lose his, well, Incomplete loses Wraith as well. But oh my god, the dropship actually goes down before any vultures are dropped out. So that's a big, big deal.
What happened there? What?
I think kogeT lost control of everything. He was trying to micro his Wraith against the Wraith and not die. So a little bit difficult, but kogeT with the high ground position now on top of the barracks. Gonna be dangerously close to Incomplete's factories as well.
kogeT's a little bit lucky that because this map is so locked down by eggs and stuff that, you know, the ability for Incomplete to punish him at this point is pretty, you know, minimal. But, yeah. I mean, in a normal TVT, yeah, that would actually be a pretty big deal.
I mean, his first factory is actually under siege right now by these tanks on the high ground. And this is going to be very, very dangerous. If he loses his factory, he's only got one more behind this. He's adding on an additional 5 factories down at the southern side of his main. But right now, he can't push in and do any damage. You know, I really want to see one of them drop tanks in the Ursidon pen. Just do it. I just want to see it. It looked cool, but I mean, Incomplete's unable to push through the top of the map now. That's kind of locked down by these high ground tanks. Incomplete gonna be taking a mineral only for his third, which realistically isn't going to help him too much. Vulture's not going to be coming into play too much on this map either. And I mean, kogeT behind this, adding on another 2 starports. Really going to make use of that third gas.
Yeah, kogeT is just honestly running away with this game. He's got complete control of the only side of the map that matters, and that's the left side. Like, you can try to get rotational symmetry or something or other for 3-player maps, but this is one of the least symmetrical. And it's because the left side of the map is just so much more important than the right side. But kogeT's got control of all of it, basically. The only bases that Incomplete would be allowed to take that he hasn't gotten is maybe the one below, like the mineral only on the high ground, but I mean, or not mineral only, but like the high ground base right below his third. But I mean, even that's just gonna take quite a bit.
Yeah, and kogeT's slowly adding on to his stranglehold as well. He's getting more and more tanks on the choke points, making it very, very difficult for Incomplete to really do too much. And I mean, kogeT's sending a lot of SCVs down to this other main to get his 4th gas in this game. He's got the upgrade advantage as well on ground, so poor Incomplete is just finding himself in such a horrible position to try and push out from here. And I mean, he sent 2 tanks over, but they're just going to die to Wraiths because he's still not got an armory.
Well, yeah, why does what, you don't have an armory in TVT?
Oh, like, yes, he does. He does, sorry,
yeah,
that's my bad.
Alright. I was gonna say, like, the race to +2 is, like, so infinitely important. Like, I mean, I guess this is gonna be a weird game, so maybe huge tank lines aren't really gonna be what decide it, but it's still a big deal. And +1's already done for kogeT.
Yeah, we've actually got kogeT being able to build tanks off of 4 factories right now, as well as 3 Wraiths at a time from his starports. So he is absolutely rolling in money now. Incomplete, still trying to find a way through, trying to find exactly what to do. kogeT has actually managed to break down all of the other eggs to open up a lot more paths for him. And he's adding on a 5th command center at this middle left base.
Honestly, yeah, the 5th command center might be a little bit overdoing it, my man. Yeah, just go kill the guy. Like, the supply isn't even maxed out. He's going for a race switch right now, kogeT is, so, I mean, that's like the big play that he's doing instead of just building 200 supply of mech units. But he could if he wanted to. So, at this point, I mean, Incomplete is just trying to kind of hang on, get his own production up. I think he might even have almost too many factories, but he is going to be pumping as many Goliaths out as he can.
Yeah, now the cool thing is we do have Incomplete going for the Vulture Drop. Going to be able to take down a decent number of SCVs, but he's seen the full Wraith count now. There's going to be tanks cutting him off from the 6 o'clock position as well. And kogeT in an unbelievable situation right now. We're actually going to see the reverse of what happened at the north side of the map happening at the bottom side as well. And unfortunately, Incomplete is just kind of biding his time until maybe he can max out and do something, but it's going to be difficult. And I think, honestly, and I don't like to call games this quickly, but I believe Incomplete may have been a little bit outclassed here in TBT.
Yeah, I mean, floating 4K minerals and a K gas is, you know, a little bit rough regardless. He does have a ton of production facilities, and it's not like he hasn't been making use of them. It's not like his macro is bad or anything, but, I mean, kogeT is just a monster, and even with high Goliath production, this is 2 full control groups of ReVs almost.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is
it's not that many, but it's close.
Yeah, it's getting there. Like, eventually it will be there as well. Wraith's still popping out. And I mean, kogeT probably could have moved in and killed him, but he's just doing the old Artosis mantra of if you're ahead, get more ahead. And he's taking every other base on the map. Like, there's really very little that Incomplete can do about this. kogeT actually going into ship weapons and ship plating as well. And Incomplete taps out. GG, well played. And that's going to give NetWars the 4-0 victory.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with it being a waste of his time. I mean, you play the game for a reason, so you know it sucks to lose, and especially if you're in one of those like inevitable kind of losing positions, it's just gonna feel bad. So I don't blame him for tapping out, but it was actually still kind of okay there for a while. It's a weird map where it's just so stalled out at the beginning that it's hard to get anything going. So I don't know. I think that really favored kogeT from the very beginning, and you could start to see how comfortable he was at just playing a long macro game.
Yeah, now one thing we can say about this is that's actually going to end that series, but there is another series coming up. Let's just quickly sort of recap exactly what happened, and then we'll head over to a quick break before we head into the second series. So just to quickly show everyone, if you missed it, what's been happening today, we can see that Missouri took down Zaz on Katrina SE, Zero took down the Camper on Sin Peaks of Bankdu. Camper playing a little bit too greedy there, unfortunately. Yeti taking down CRVT in an insane PvP. And kogeT taking out Incomplete there to round off the series 4-0. And I mean, ReV did have a decent showing. Obviously didn't have the best games, but coming out against one of the top ranked teams in the STPL in general is not an easy feat for them to do. And they did a pretty okay job, but that's going to end us for this series, and we're going to be back in just under 5 minutes for our next series. See you guys then.